Alright guys, we are back. I'm gonna be honest, haven't been feeling the greatest these past couple of days, but it is what it is. So I at least wanted to do this video here for the Double Special Heroes banner that we got today. Sorry I'm not on time with this, but go ahead and take a look at the units here. Honestly, there's not really anything too crazy in here with maybe the exception of this one unit right here. So we can go ahead and do the full banner breakdown for this. Now, over here on red, we have the Bunny Chloe, and they are accompanied by Juno. Both these units are actually not the worst. Like, Juno, I actually like her support quite a bit. She gives bonus doubler, speed and res up 6, and null panic to allies in 2 spaces, which is pretty good. And then her weapon itself is okay. She's got some bonus damage based on speed, 20% of speed. You have null follow-up, and then we get all stats up 5. So it's okay. It's solid enough. And then her being a flying type unit, of course, you go ahead and give her a Soaring Echo. Go ahead and give her Rain Snap, and then she can be like a really, really good support unit at that point, giving a lot of mobility as well as the stat bonuses. All right, then, of course, Chloe, her harmonic skill is pretty good, but it got devalued a little bit with the Attuned Azura being added, because she just dances and gives the whole party incited pretty much, whereas this unit, I guess the cooldown reduction is still pretty good. But other than that, this unit was really good on release and for a little bit. She's just like a souped-up legendary Hinoka. You give charge to all your allies in 2 spaces, as opposed to only flyers, as well as attack and speed up 6, and then 40% DR on the first enemy attack as a support. So that's very strong still, I would say is pretty good. Her damage is pretty good too. She gets some cooldown reduction there on her harmonic skill, which you can use to just turn her into a AoE nuke if you want to go for that. And she's getting a lot of bonus damage here, and she cuts DR as well. So she can be a pretty big damage dealer. Her base kit is okay. Remote Sparrow you definitely want to get rid of for something else though. And for fodder, I guess Speed and Res Crux is fine, but we're trending in a different direction at the moment. What you would probably want to do, actually, is give her Attack and Speed Mastery, I think is what it's called. Like, Catch level 5, basically. The one that gives you Canto and then Attack and Speed bonuses. Occult Strike is fine. You can go ahead and keep that. She already cuts DR, so, like, Resonance is whatever. You could go for it, but I think Occult Strike is fine. So, this unit's fine. I think red is actually a pretty solid pool overall. Then on blue, we have the Bride Sharena, who is, I mean, you could argue she's amongst the top 3 Gale Force units in the game. The other 2 being Felix, as well as the Summer Gulveg. Both of those units are really good, of course, for the amount of actions they get. And this unit is not far behind, getting 4 actions, which is, of course, very good. They score good, of course, for Arena as well, being a duo hero, and I like the way that they get their extra action, where it's after they attack or break a structure or anything, after they take an action and they end their turn. If someone else takes an action in combat within 3 spaces, then they refresh. And they also refresh their Canto as well, which can be really huge for positioning, particularly in Aether Raid's offense when you're running this unit there. It's really good to be able to just move all over the place. So they're pretty good for that, although their damage definitely leaves a bit to be desired. They don't cut DR on their own. They have it on no quarter, but if the enemies are blocking specials with Scowl and like Guard and stuff like that, I guess this unit nullifies Guard actually, but if they have a way to stop you from using your special, then it can be hard to blow stuff up with this unit. But at the very least, their kit is pretty good. Excel and Potent 4. Can't really argue too much with that. I guess Momentum 4 at this point from Sigurd is a little better, but for melee calves, this is pretty damn good. And then they are accompanied by the Bunny Sylvain over here, who is also pretty good. He gets extra actions when he uses a rally or I think also any movement assist. Let's see here. I don't remember exactly what he has to do to get the extra action. All right, if a rally is used, okay, so it has to be a rally. He can't use like swap or repo or anything like that. But that's fine. He's still giving the support. He gives acceleration, and then he gives himself an extra action. He also gives himself brave attacking and 40% enemy first attack DR. He gets half a null follow-up too. So like this guy, he can be an interesting unit for action economy. It's just that we've gotten so many other units that can do that and do it better. Like Duo Robin, for example. We have the Brave Crom Refine, which is really good. There's a lot of other Crom units that are really good. There's also attuned Lucina, who has Future Sight, and then she can give support with that. So all those units, I think, are doing a little bit more than him. We're in like a serious role compression era right now, where you got to be doing like 500 things. So him only being able to do one rally and then get an extra action, that's not really enough right now. His fodder is okay, though. He's got no quarter, he's got speed and defense and near trace, and then he's got attack and speed clash 4, which we're going for Excel now, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, so blue, I would say blue is pretty... Sharena is probably the most desirable unit on the whole banner, but she is bogged down a little bit by this guy. I think there are better units to go for as opposed to him. Okay, next up on green, we have both the demote heroes. We have Nell, and then we also have Baby Lissa here. So Baby Lissa is a pretty fun merge project to go for. She scores solid enough for Arena, although nowadays we have units like Panette and Marnie who just score better. But she scores decent enough. She's like one bin below them, and then, of course, the idea is give her Brave Ike's kit, or Emblem Ike's kit, give her Lagu's Friend, Def Res finish 4, and then that's pretty much it. Like, she could be a very good unit. Defenses check out really well, and then her weapon, of course, is really good too. So she's not a bad merge project if you're interested in going for her. And then as far as Nell is concerned, being a dragon, of course, means you get a lot of superiority in terms of scoring. So she can run Distant Counter Dragon, she can run High Dragon Wall, and like all those high scoring dragon skills. The only downside is that she lacks a preference weapon. So her scoring isn't the craziest, but it's not the worst either. And we just recently got a bunch of new dragon skills as well. Like, was it Dragon Scales from the Halloween banner, which is sort of like Shield Fighter, but not quite as good. So you'd be able to run that with like Dragon's Roar or something of that nature. She could be a pretty solid merge project as well. I don't think either of these two are particularly bad by any means. She also has a lot of speed, which is not too common for dragons. So speed builds can work out pretty well for Nell. And then finally on Colorless we have the Beachside Aleer and also Winter Yunaka. Very unfortunate. Yunaka was amazing on release. That didn't last too long, though, unfortunately. With the resurgence of save units, I don't know about Yunaka right now, honestly. Her fodder is still top of the line, though. Flared Sparrow and Assassin Strike. That seems like that's never going to be bad. So you could go ahead and build up any of your range units pretty well with that. And then Fatal Smoke 4 is kind of fallen off with Divine Nectar and Breath of Life 4 and things like that. Also, the Halloween Asker support. So Fatal Smoke 4, not quite as good as it was, but you could still find some rare uses for it. It's not, like, completely unrunnable, but it's, like, I wouldn't be looking at it first in terms of what C-skill I want right now. And then, of course, her weapon, which was really good on release, not so much now. Mainly the problem is that she pierces 90% of the enemy's DR, but it's only for pierceable DR, and if the enemies have non-pierceable DR, which is what's been going around now, like Lagu's Friend with Aegis and like those specials that do damage and then also have non-pierceable DR, like Godlike Reflexes, Armored Blaze, Armored Flow, Dragon Roar, Sturdy Beast, all those new specials that have non-pierceable DR are very bad for Yunaka's damage output. So she fell off a little bit because of that. But she's still a really awesome hit and run option with, of course, being able to attack from range with a dagger. She's a cav type, so she's got 3 range of movement, and then also Canto Distant, which is still really good. You could also give her stuff like Potent Disarm for Aether Raids if you want to go that route. Potent Disarm is also not a bad skill for her because she gets the extra hit. So she's still okay, I guess. I don't want to say she's like awful, but she's not as good as she was on release. And then this Aleer over here who has pretty much a similar support to her legendary counterpart where she can give allies damage reduction nullification when they use a special. She also gives other effects as well. Let's see here. All right, she gives Bonded, and then Bonded is... What does Bonded do? Or when special triggers, you nullify their DR, and then if you're in 3 spaces of a support partner, then you get 40% DR on the enemy's next attack. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. It's a little bit better than the legendary one. And she's also colorless, too, unlike the legendary Leer being green, which isn't always the greatest. You may come up against units that have color advantage, which sucks, but... Yeah, she's still got the brave attacking. She's just like a souped-up version of legendary Leer for the most part. But unfortunately, that's not quite good enough anymore. But she does have this one awesome fodder skill here, even Res Wave D, which is... Is this the best wave skill? It might be. I really like attack wave near. I think that one's really good too, but this one's only for dragon type units because it has Scowl built in, but having Scowl on the C slot is pretty good, all things considered. It's not too easy to get Scowl, so having it there is really awesome. And then she's got Null C4, which is, you don't even want that anymore. You just go for Null C Echo. Maybe not on her, but like units that don't have preference skills. And then Speed and Res Finish 4, which, again, there's better options. Like, the list goes on and on. Distant Counter, Bonus Doubler, so on and so forth. Don't make me have to use my brain at this moment. So, there you guys go. That is the breakdown for this banner. I think Sharena's the only unit here that I think is still, like, super meta-relevant. Everything else is like a bunch of stuff that was really good, but not so much right now. Chloe maybe is the second best unit. So I would prioritize red or blue here if you're summoning, but this is pretty much a safe skip. If you already have Sharena, it's a definite skip. So we'll just go ahead and knock out this freebie here and see what happens. All right, we'll go for red. I would want to get Juno here because I don't have her yet. All right, that's not Juno. Okay, sure. All right, so we get a Henry. Let me know what you were able to get on your free pull here. But yeah, once again, sorry for this not being on time, but wasn't feeling the great. I didn't even want to get out of bed this morning, to tell you the truth. But all right, there you guys go. That is the banner breakdown for the double special banner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.